Hello everyone, welcome back to Art Club. This week we are making paper chains. So I'm going to take you through 3 different types of paper chains which all use a concertina type folding technique to start with, and that's like the ones that are on screen now. And then at the very end I'm going to do one that's a little bit trickier, a little bit more complicated, and that one is in a circle. Okay, so for all 3 of the concertina type designs, which is the first 3 that we're doing, you need to find yourself the longest piece of paper you can and cut a nice strip of it like that. Okay, you then need to fold it exactly in half, so get the corners lined up. If you hold that end together so it's exactly lined up, if you then pull down, you'll get it exactly in half. Okay, exactly in half. And then we're going to go in half again. And you're just going to keep folding it in half until it's too thick for your scissors to cut through. So I'm going to go again. And I think I'll leave it there because I think that is as thick as my scissors can realistically cut. I'd also just like to apologise for the state of my hands. I've been doing ink with year 8 today and I've washed them 3 times and they still look like this. So sorry about that. Now onto the designing part. As you can see from the ones that are on screen, you can pretty much do any design that you like. It can be flowers, it can be butterflies, it can be people, absolutely anything, as long as your design touches this folded side and touches this folded side. So you can see this really well with the butterfly that's on screen, and they haven't done the entire wing so that when you fold it out, it's still holding together. What's also really good about the butterfly is it's actually held in 2 places on each side, which means that it's going to be a little bit stronger. So remember, with all of these paper chains, the shapes must touch both sides of the paper, here and here, to form a chain. So the first one is repeating the same figure. And for this, you need to choose something that is absolutely symmetrical. So you could do a person, you could do a tree, you could do a flower, something like that. Something that will be symmetrical, which means the same on both sides. Well, mirror image on both sides, I guess, when you fold it out, okay? So for this one, as you can see, on the left-hand side of your piece of paper, making sure that the folds are on either side, not at the top and the bottom. So the folds need to be on the left-hand side and the right-hand side. You then need to draw out your figure on one side, just half of it, so that when it folds out, you will have the entire figure there. You then also need to make sure that your design is touching both sides of the piece of paper. So it needs to touch this side and it also needs to touch this side. So on this one, they've got an arm sticking out, which is touching the other side, which means that when they fold it out, it is actually going to stay together. Okay, so golden rule is your design needs to touch both sides, otherwise it won't be a chain. The next one we're doing are asymmetrical paper chains, and this just means instead of doing a symmetrical person who is a mirror image on either side if you split them half, we are now just doing a person who is different on both sides. So you can also adapt this to different things like trees and flowers and other animals if you like, but I quite like this because it looks like they're dancing. So the first thing that you need to do is get your piece of paper again so that the folds are on these sides, and then if you have a look at the left hand corner, you can see what was drawn on the paper while it was folded up. So you still have the golden rule of something needs to be touching the right and something needs to be touching the left. But this time you're going to draw your figure in the middle. So I am going to demonstrate this one because it's a tiny bit more complicated. So as you can see, I've got my concertina piece of paper, and on this side with the folds, I have the hand touching, and on this side with the other folds, I have this hand touching. As you can see, I've drawn the figure in the middle instead of at the side like the previous one. And because it's now in the middle, I can do kind of whatever shape I like. It doesn't need to be symmetrical. And when I fold it out, it will be holding hands with the next one, but it will be a mirror image. And there we go, I've cut it out, and if I unfold it, you can see that all my people are holding hands and they are alternating. So this next one is the last one that we're going to do with the concertina type folding. And again, you now need two symmetrical figures. So two figures that are the same on each side of themselves. However, this time you can do two people who look different to each other. So as you can see in the example, on the left is somebody wearing a dress, and on the right is somebody wearing trousers. And that means that when it folds out, it's going to be dress, trousers, dress, trousers, dress, trousers, and so on. So for this one, you need to go back to drawing half of the figure on the side, on the left-hand side with the folds, and then half of the second figure on the right-hand side with the folds. And then they are going to meet in the middle with their hands. So with my one, my kind of square piece that I'm drawing on isn't quite big enough for their arms to meet. Otherwise, they'd be really weirdly long arms. So instead, I've put something in the middle, done them pulling a Christmas cracker. And that's absolutely fine. You can do absolutely anything you like in the middle, as long as this figure is just half of it down the middle, and this figure is just half of it down the middle. This is the final one that I'm going to show you today, and it is a circular paper chain. First, you need to make a circle out of paper. So I've got my paper, got a dinner plate, and I'm just going to draw around that so that I can cut it out. You now need to fold your circle exactly in half. So get it lined up, and then hold and push towards the middle, and then you can push that crease. You then need to do one more fold. Try and get it exact. And then we are going to do one more, but we're then going to open it straight back out again. So one more in the middle, and then open it straight back out again. Okay, I can now start drawing my people. So I want their heads to be about here. I would like their hands to be holding to keep it together. Remember, I need to do a symmetrical person. So it's kind of like before. So I've drawn out my two people so that they are symmetrical, with the fold going exactly between them. So this guy's got a top hat on, and this person is wearing a dress, and they are holding hands in the middle. So this bit in the middle, this fold that we made before, that is where they should be holding hands so that they're exactly equally spaced apart. And now is the moment of truth. See how well it's worked. Fold it out. Ah, it's quite cute. So following on from the two people that I did, I've actually made this design as well, which I think is going to look even better. So I wanted it so that I'll have a hoop there and the snake here. And when it opens out, I should get the other side of the hoop and a snake going the opposite way, remembering to not cut this bit and not cut this bit so that it stays together. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed making those paper chains, and I will see you next week.